What's up, everybody? Welcome back, episode 6 of the podcast. What's up, Sanka? How are you, man?
Hey buddy, how's it going? It's been a bit of a somber week, hasn't it? We're just the magic the podcast has created is suddenly gone, and we need to just bring it back somehow. We need to just capture that magic that left us unbeaten in October, and just hope November isn't a complete dud for us.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny because that was the first loss the Vikings have had since we started the podcast. So our magic spell is a little bit off already.
Should we just can the podcast now? Maybe we need to rebrand or some shit now.
Yeah, we're
Right.
done. All right, thank you, everybody. We're gonna head out. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Right. So before we get into the game, random question, and you haven't seen this, so it's gonna be new to you.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
This is from Joey Jojo at Joe Whitson. I hope I pronounced that right. If not, just call him Joe. He's fine with that. Right. Neutral site, both equal, so it's not land, it's not sea. Right. A bear versus a shark. Who wins? And hang on, before you say it's because you probably won't get this reference because your pull-out game is probably pretty strong, right? But
Yeah.
every time I see the word shark, I hear
Hey,
like
shark.
yeah, I hear this music, right? Just on in my head, just goes on and on. And you won't feel anything right now, right? But I
Right.
swear, every single parent listening to this has just suddenly cringed and just gone, no, fucking turn that off.
Totally
Yeah,
traumatized after that song, man.
just hate that song. So right, go on. Bear
So
versus a
catchy.
shark.
Damn, bro, I don't know. So I mean, I feel like shark.
Go on.
They've
Why?
al they've always seemed like more deadly to me. I don't know. I mean, I've seen a bear like. So this is a funny story. Like, I live in Florida, so one night I was like just walking outside my apartment, getting the garbage out, and I go up my stairs to go into my apartment, and the first thing I see is right outside my apartment. It's like three bears, like three big fucking black bears outside of my
What?
house.
In Florida?
I
Right.
shit you not. It's not like I saw it from far away. No, imagine your apartment, like your house, whatever, right? You open the door, it's fucking 4 yards away, 5 yards away. It's fucking three bears just going at it at your trash.
So what did you just turn around and go back in?
I mean, I have a bum ankle, so I couldn't run. I just kind of like stepped back real. I mean, no, actually, no. I like opened my apartment door real quick and just went in and just ran in and locked it.
Yeah.
Cause like
No,
I
feeling
couldn't really run away. I have my ankles all fucked up. So I couldn't actually run. I had to like kind of walk fast towards my apartment door and just close it and open because they were like distracted with the trash.
yeah.
So okay, they're a little busy. I'm gonna go in now, lock that shit, and once they leave, I don't know, do something.
Do you know what it was? It was the curry from last night that you threw out. That's what they were going after.
It's literally
That stuff is delicious, man.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then they smell it, and then oh my god, I don't know, it was fucking scary. That tweet went semi-viral when I posted it, so that was something funny.
Yeah. So go on. So you're going shark. Shark's going to
I'm going
win.
shark. I'm going shark. Yeah, I just feel like they're more bloodthirsty than
I,
bears.
I think right. So both have sharp teeth. I think bears have underrated sharp teeth there. But the thing is, in a fight, a bear's got paws. What's got shark got? It's like fins. What the fuck are you gonna do with a fin? You're not gonna hurt anyone with a fin.
So that's why. So are we imagining a type of weird shark with like legs and arms, or just a shark just like flopping around on the ground, or like what? I don't get it. You know?
So the shark can walk. It can survive out of water. So, but it can swim in the air. That's how I imagine it. So it's like swimming around in the air,
Oh
and then
no,
the bear.
fuck yeah, shark. Too much speed, man. He's fucking flying. He has the whole advantage, man. He has aerial advantage.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think a bear has got to be pretty strong, right? I've seen some of the big wild bears.
I mean, I've seen
They
them.
can they can swipe you. Well, yeah, they go through your underwear in the trash or something. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, the shark probably edges it. I'd love to see it, but bears they got paws as well as claws.
Yeah, but dude, you know how scary it is? Just imagine a shark in the water is scary enough. Imagine a shark flying at you. Motherfucking
The flying shark.
flying.
Doo,
Flying shark. You're
doo, doo,
fucked.
doo, doo, doo.
That flying shark is fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks, Joe, for that random question. I loved it. I think we need more random questions like that just to start the week because it's better just to have something light-hearted before we get into the Chiefs game. So, what is your opinion now? You've had a few days to reflect on it. It's not raw as it would have been on Sunday. So, what do you make of it?
So I feel like the not the good thing, but like the flip side of a loss is that gives us a lot to talk about, right? So I
Yes,
feel like after a loss, because this started after a Chicago Bears loss.
it's true.
So you have, just as a human, you have the feeling to want to get other opinions because it works somehow of like a therapy kind of a thing. It's therapeutic. Like it helps you. I don't know, like assimilate what happened, like getting other people's perspectives. It helps you kind of move on in a way, because the losses like that, any loss in the NFL, because when you have such a short season, every loss has a little bit of weight to it. Like if you lose a game in the NBA, it's not that much big of a deal. You still got 85 more games to go. But in the NFL, you lose one game, and it's different. It's a different feeling, right?
Yes. Yeah,
With this game,
definitely.
yeah, and with this game, it was I throughout the game, no matter what the Chiefs would do, my mind would say, you know what, we got this. Like we shouldn't this shouldn't be a big deal, right? Until the last second field goal. Now
Yeah.
that one, I was like, okay, fuck.
Yeah.
And my opinions of the game, man, is everybody, everybody fucked up somehow. Everybody's trying to blame Kirk Cousins. It's not him only. He'd had a little bit of involvement in the loss, but I feel like overall, every facet of the game of the team fucked up somehow. You can't shank a punt when the game is on the line. You can't make Zimmer has bad clock management. He has issues with that. The defense can't allow a 91-yard touchdown. Receiver can't be dropping passes. Why the fuck is Laquan Treadwell our leading receiver in a game like this?
The game
So
of the
many
quant.
questions. It was so bad, and the offense was everything was bad. Like this is one of those ugly losses, you know, where even though you played like shit, you were still close enough. But if you weren't a total piece of shit, you win that game. No, if you don't fuck up, you win that game.
And that's the point, isn't it? If one phase stood up, we would have won that game. If you had special teams, if Dan Bailey didn't miss that extra point, for example, and everyone's going, "Oh, you would have been a 2 point game." Well, actually, they wouldn't have been able to tie with a field goal. They would have needed a touchdown then. So that 1 point makes the difference there. Kirk Cousins running and then sliding 2 yards short of first down. What the fuck are you doing? Just there's a marker there for you on both sides of the field. If you can't get any simpler, it's 10 yards. Surely no, you know how to count to 10, right? But yeah, him sliding down before the first down marker, that was stupid. So many drops and so many bad throws. It's like just the accuracy was gone. But I think the worst was we talked about this last week, right? We said it seemed like there was a game plan. Did you feel ever in this game that there was a game plan that we went in with? Because I didn't.
A
I
lot
thought
of
we were.
defense, man. I mean, yeah. So remember, there were two things we talked about last week, right? First of all, fast receivers for the Chiefs. They're too fast. How do you match up with them? And second, the offensive play calling looked a little conservative against Washington. We said, it's Washington. We didn't need to show that much. We were trying to, you know, play our cards close to our chest. But it happened again.
Yeah, and I'd say then now you start doubting the Washington game. Was it we were shit and Washington were just shitter, and as a result, that's why we won the game? Because this was an easily winnable game. We were within it, like you said. It felt like we were in control until that last second field goal, right? And then it was just like the whole air got let out of us. But there's so many. You got to start asking questions about Zim. If if you're the worst coach with your clock management in a game where you're facing Andy Reid, the guy who bollocks up a Super Bowl because of his clock management skills, he is worse than you are. Sorry, he's better than you are at clock management. What the fuck's going on there? So, and why can't Zim just hire someone to manage his clock? Why can't he just hire someone to tell him about the challenges? Who's in his ear saying, "Yeah, we should challenge that"? So there's a lot to clean up. But the positive is that it was a road game against an AFC opponent. So from the impact for us in the NFC isn't as bad as it would have been, say for example, this week against the Cowboys, or even worse, if it was a division opponent. And The other positive is that no one in the NFC North won this weekend.
Exactly.
Everyone
Yeah.
got everyone got their asses whipped. So yeah, you could say it would have been a good weekend to catch up and get ahead of the pack, or actually you minimize your losses a little bit, get out of this week. Let's focus on next week. And have you seen the next two games for the Packers?
I have not.
They have got the Panthers away, who've been
Okay.
pretty hot, even with Kyle Allen as quarterback. I think they've been really good, especially McCaffrey at home. He's going to be pretty good. And then they've got the 49ers at Lambeau. So they can easily go 0-3 in this 3 game stretch. And suddenly the division is wide open again. Everyone's just going, yeah, Packers are great. Same as Patriots were great. And they face a good team, and they get their ass handed to them.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, Green Bay is 7-2, right?
Yeah, and we are what, 6-3? So
Six and
one
three.
game.
One game and a half behind because they have the division on one.
Yeah, yeah. But we've still got 3 more division games, and if we win those, then our division records better.
Yeah,
Um,
but so at 6-3, you can't go worse than 5-2. At this point, you gotta hit for 11-5 as a final
yeah,
record.
yeah.
You can't. You can't go 10-6. You won't make it. You won't win the division at 10-6. You will not.
No.
Right? 11-5 guarantees at least a fifth seed
Yeah,
and a shot at the title. But then look. So the way I see it is, these two next weeks before the bye, we got Dallas away and then we got Denver at home. Right? Denver at home should be a win, but then this week against the Cowboys, I have a bad feeling about this game
mm.
because there's
And
two things I can. Sorry, go ahead.
well, yeah, I agree with you about Denver. I think it's that at home you got to give the edge because they've just lost Flacco as well. So
Yeah, they
he's
got Brandon Allen, so he
yeah,
sucks. So
so he's out. And the defense is okay, but it's not as good as it used to be. Fangio is still finding his feet, so I think we should be able to squeak out a win there. But yeah, Cowboys. I think we're going to get into the Cowboys in a minute. But just the overall picture, um, I don't think it's as grim as people are saying. We got with two tough games for us. Cowboys obviously, and then the Seahawks on the road. So the but the Seahawks just like let in what they gave up 34 points or something to the Buccaneers. So they're a bit of a hot and cold team as well. So yeah, I'm not clearly I was wrong about my prediction and egg on my face for saying the next time they'll lose was preseason. So I'm not going to make that shitty prediction again. But I'm still fairly confident that we'll make the playoffs this year.
the one thing, so there's two things that worry me right now. Number one is that game against Green Bay is what worries me right now because this team, and this leads to my second worry is this team just an average team that really beats the fuck out of bad teams and just can't get it done against good teams, or is this a good team that just hasn't hit a stride yet? It could be either of the two, and hopefully it's the second good because if it's we don't want to be an above average team that's going to scrape by into the playoffs and be one and done. That's not the whole point. That's not why you sign Kirk. That's not why you build this roster the way you built it.
Yeah, and I I personally think we have a really good team that just hasn't clicked. And we can go into the reasons why, but there's so many other podcasts they'll give you the analysis, but I think they just need to get their fucking act together and start winning games.
Yeah,
Just
Michael Jackson. I
grind.
don't. I just want to mention why the defense is so poor this season. I just don't get it. I don't know
Yeah,
what the holdup is with benching Rhodes and Waynes and going with Hill and Hughes right now.
yeah. Well, the questions that we got this week were very defense and cornerback centric, so we'll cover
We'll
those
get to that.
in a little bit. But you're right. It's the what Zim is known for is not performing at the moment, and that is a worry in my head. But yeah, let's. I mean, before we get to the Cowboys game, let's the topic of the week. Mike Wobshaw getting the sack. Did
That
you
was
hear that?
unexpected. Yeah, I saw it definitely. That
Yeah.
was super unexpected. I mean, we all know why it happened. It was way too political. Way too
Yeah,
political.
but that was like in January. Like, why dig up the past now? Like,
Yeah, but we
if you,
don't know what happens behind the doors, though. You don't know how outspoken he is in the office or something, you know?
I know, but this is a fun podcast. So one rumor that you're going to start about Mike Wobshaw, right? And I'll give you a minute because I've just sprung this on you. I reckon he slept with someone in
Jesus.
in the cafeteria, and then they were just like, "Whoa, you can't put your meat. That's the veggie section. What are you doing?" And there it was, sacked on the spot. So just start a random shitty rumor, and then just see if it spreads.
So you're saying he fucked somebody and that's what they fired? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Is that okay?
that's a sackable offense.
I'll roll with that if you want.
Yeah, but it's great. I mean, so the work he did, he was always very like purple tinted glasses, right? He was never said a bad word against the team, and that was kind of his job. But I used to listen to his podcasts and stuff, and it was all right. But yeah, he needed to separate his personal life from his business life a little bit.
Wasn't. I feel like it's that or just something that we're never gonna know what happened. You know?
Yeah, yeah, but something will come out. Yeah, but Paul Allen now is going to feel lonely because he was his busy mate. So
Yeah.
hopefully it won't impact Paul's work now. But right, so we're going to the Cowboys this week. What do you make of the matchup? The biggest storyline that's obviously building up is Zeke Elliott versus Dalvin Cook.
Definitely. Yeah. And Zeke doesn't worry me. Sorry, as much as Dak. And the reason is this defense has always struggled against mobile quarterbacks. Happens against Cam, happens against Russell, happens against
Mm,
anybody who can evade the pressure and just go. I will never forget Cam Newton running for like 75 yards down the sideline a couple of years ago.
yeah,
We'll never forget that.
yeah, yeah. And it's true, it's true. But mobile quarterbacks are a problem for any defense, not just our defense. There's so many that can't contain them unless you have a good wrap around it and create a good seal around. I don't see how you can contain mobile quarterbacks that easily.
I mean,
But
I
you're
I
right. It's
imagine, yeah, I can imagine Anthony Barr's gonna just play spy, I guess.
mm, yeah. His Zim's got to get creative this game. Is enough is enough. He's going to his old stomping ground. I'm sure he wants to put a statement down saying his defense is still a force to be reckoned with. He's just still be able to limit Dak and stuff. But there was a weird stat that worried me. Um, the players with the most touchdowns with 40 yards or more, Stephon Diggs, obviously, Tyreek Hill, and he got one of them against us this weekend. And the other one's Amari Cooper. So he's specializing in long touchdowns this season. So that's something we've got to watch out for, especially with our cornerbacks at the moment, because they have more weapons than you realize. They've got Randall Cobb, who used to burn us as a Packers.
Tavon Austin.
Um, yeah, and they've also got Jason Witten as well.
Yeah, but I'm not too worried about Witten, honestly. I'm not too worried.
Yeah, but you can sneak a touchdown in the end zone or something. It's just in the red zone, sorry. And yeah, they've got enough weapons, and I'd rather not play a conservative game. We've got this got mentioned on loads of other podcasts and stuff that we played it safe. We didn't have that explosive game plan that we had against the Phillies, that we had against the Lions. Do you remember the last play against the Lions? What was it? It
Yeah,
was the 60 odd yard throw to Stefan. It was like full play action, 10 in the box, throw it to him, win the game, rather than
but now
running the ball. And we
I'm just worried that the confidence is going down with Kirk. That's another thing that scares me because once his confidence goes down, it's back to Chicago, it's back to Green Bay, it's back to stuff that happened last year.
or hopefully it was a bit of a fire that he needed, just to get him back up and running again. Maybe he was just like tired after the great month he had, and he just needed a bit of a kick up the arse again, and then he'll be back again. But screw this mentality of just playing conservative. Just keep launching the balls down the field, and that's how we're going to win games.
Yeah,
I
don't
think,
play afraid is what I say. Don't play afraid. And I
yeah,
remember reading somebody mention, I don't know if it was you, but somebody mentioned that this a loss against the Chiefs would serve as a hey, wake the fuck up. It's not like we're that good anymore. We're still a decent team.
yeah,
Just don't get
yeah,
cocky.
yeah. And we've had games where some of the phases haven't worked, and Chiefs game is just every single phase that I'm not sure if you've ever heard of like the Swiss cheese model. So you know how Swiss cheese has holes in it, right?
Yeah,
Do you remember the old Tom and Jerry cartoons where they used to eat the cheese?
definitely. Yeah, the
And
big block
and
holes. Yeah.
right, and if you slice Swiss cheese, it has holes in it, but the holes never go through the whole block. And when you slice it, so each slice, if you imagine it, is a different phase. So you got the special teams, you got the defense, you got the offense. Occasionally, you get a whole block, so the whole team, where the hole goes straight through, and that's what happened against the Chiefs game. You just found a hole, and we every single phase failed, and that's why we lost. And we're too good a team to happen to that for that to happen every week, and either the offense needs to step up again, or the defense needs to step up. Finally, 10 games into the season, and one of those is going to happen, and we are going to win this game. And that's the reason we'll win the game, because one of the two phases, offense or defense, really steps up and comes to the party.
I mean, I just hope. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like the offense can figure itself out eventually, but I'm worried that defense hasn't shown any sign of improvement. That worries me because we've seen the offense do really, really, really well, but we haven't seen the defense do what they do best. And we've spoken about how the underneath passes destroy us, but then last week we just got smoked by deep passes. Matt Moore was carving us
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Our cornerbacks, I don't know what is up with them. And we'll go on to the spicy questions in a minute, but let's do score predictions against the Cowboys.
up. I don't know. Why don't you go first?
I think it'll be a shootout, uh, 45-38 to the Vikings.
Fuck. I'm gonna go 20, 24, 21 Vikings. I still feel like this team has it in them, man. And I feel like Zim's gonna bounce back.
Yeah,
I hope because this game is huge for the season. Like if you can beat these guys and you're back on track, but if you get smoked again, I
yeah,
don't want to overreact, but I think the season is done if you lose against the Cowboys.
yeah. I think you're right. We're getting close to where you'll just pack it in, and you might get a wild card spot, but then you'll just get smoked as soon as you go into that first playoff game because you're just not good enough. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm optimistic. Win against Cowboys, Broncos, get healthy over bye week, hammer
Be be
Seattle.
be 8-3, man, and you're back in it. Especially if the Packers lose
Exactly.
the next two games, man.
Yeah. If they lose the next two, we're top of the division, and then all we have to do
Just
is
win, just
exactly
play,
just be better than the Packers.
and make sure you
Yeah.
beat them when the time comes to beat them.
Yes. Exactly. Right. So this week's spicy questions. First one, Francisco Carvalho at FS Carvalho 12. Since the game against the Raiders, Vikings defense has been looking very porous. Is it safe to say that offense needs to be the strength of the team, or is that overreacting?
I just think the league's become like that, man. Offenses are what are carrying teams now, but the defense has always been so important to this team. This is a defense first, run first team. Going away from that identity means you're going away from the coach's identity, and that's not what you want. You want Zim's ideology, you want his vision to be accurate, because if it's not, then why is he there?
Yeah, yeah. I still think the defense is a defensive team, because the most points I think we have let in this year was 30 against Lions. Unless
Yeah,
I'm having a mind block. I think
no, I
that's the
think I
most
think it
points
is
we've
30, yeah.
yeah,
But I don't
right.
look at it as
And
points, man. I look at it as just making the place at the right time, and they're not making the plays at the right time.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
they
allow
haven't had
90 to
the
touchdown. That's as simple as it is. You just can't allow a 90-yard touchdown. You just can't do that. Simple as that.
that's crazy. But we've had that before. I can't remember when. I just remember just having that before, and it's you just have those one or two moments where you just think, well, how did that happen? But I still think it's a defensive first team. The offense has definitely stepped up this year, which has been why we've won so comprehensively against good teams, not great teams, but good teams like the Eagles and the Lions. It's because the offense has stepped up in those games and the defense limited the opposition. So Yeah, I still think it's a defensive run first team, with the offense really doing their part this year. But yeah, good question. Next one, it's at Skull Light at Skull Light. Are Rhodes and Waynes simply making mistakes, multiple, or are they losing a step or two, and basically going down in a downward spiral? So, do you think it's them making mistakes, or do you think it's them losing a step? Or the third part of the question is the defense's scheme sloppy and not putting them in a good position?
I think it's different for each of them. I think Rhodes has lost a step, but I
Uh,
think Wayne's has never been a shutdown corner. He's been a solid corner. Like he's like he's good. Like he's cool. But it's not like
his
Rhodes who,
speed, right?
yeah, his speed. And then it's not like, but he's not at the level where Rhodes was 2 years ago, where he was a shutdown. Nobody could
Yeah,
throw the ball at him. You know.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think Wayne's
And I
ceiling was
agree.
just a little less. You know, that's it.
I agree with you. I think Rhodes has probably lost a step. But Zim said he's having him do things that he's not used to. So it could partly be we're not putting them in a position to be successful. But then you point to the penalties, which is points at sloppy, and also compensating for a lack of speed, or a loss in step. So whatever it is, I think we can all agree they need to step up because they were the identity of the team, right? It was Linval through the middle, Hunter and Griffin on the outside. Then you got Barr and Kendricks, Smith, and the cornerbacks. And the only reason Hunter and Griffin got to the quarterback was because the cornerbacks were doing their bit of the bargain. They were just not giving their wide receivers an inch, not allowing those quick passes, and as a result, gave more time for the edge rushers to get to the quarterback. So yeah, I think it's a mixture of things, but yeah, again, good question. Third question. So Mayor Bear at UK Viking Girl, our number one fan. Since your sixth episode falls on the sixth, give me your guys' sixth sense of our 10th game that falls on the 10th. Do you think we can get a perfect 10 game out of this game? Or did the black cat leave behind bad luck? 666. Wow. Okay. So
That's a
definitely
mouthful.
you need to go out and get some fresh air, Mayor Bear. I think
Jeez.
smoking a lot of that, Alaskan drugs and whatever you get up there. Um, so, what is your sense? Do you think we get a perfect 10 game finally?
I don't think so. Not a perfect 10 game. I feel like a solid 7 and a win. Not a perfect 10 game. I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. I think probably a 7 or 8 out of 10 will get us the win. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to be better than the other guys. No one's going to remember how you win as long as you win, right? Because it would have been really different if that was our last minute field goal to win. And you just thought,
Exactly.
oh, fuck it. It doesn't matter how you win. You won. You move on.
Yeah, just
Um,
take the win when you get them.
yeah. And then the second part of the question is, so she does the would you rather.
Right.
So got two choices. Would you rather have sex with Rodgers and guaranteed a Super Bowl win from the Vikings this year? Because obviously Rodgers has it in with the referees. Or have sex with Clay Matthews and Packers and never win a Super Bowl ever again, but Vikings still have a chance sometime in the future. So basically, sleep with Rodgers, get your Super Bowl now. Sleep with Matthews, screw over Green Bay, and hope for a Super Bowl in the future.
So I feel like the logical option would be two, but the fucking obsessed fan in me wants to go with number one. Just get it over and done with, bro.
Right? Yeah. But when I saw the vote, I voted for Matthews because you still get a chance to win, right? And not having Green Bay win again at least eases the pain of not having us win. And that's how I saw it. But you're right. Just take the Super Bowl, go home. Um,
Just take it and go.
yeah, exactly. So that was it for the questions. Last question from me. Do you want to just update everyone on what's been happening in Panama?
Yeah, sure. So nothing's changed yet. People are still protesting. Like the last couple of days has been a national holiday back home, so it's slowed down a little bit. But at the time of this recording, we are about an hour and a half away from the protests starting again back home. So
Right.
that's the update, I guess. If you guys want to, like, I guess, stay updated or whatever, you just look up Panama protests on Twitter. People are
Cool.
tweeting a lot about it. it's starting to get a little bit more of a headline. CNN posted about it as well, I think a couple of days ago.
That's good. Good. Okay. All right, man. I hope things get better, and I hope you have a good trip.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, the worst part is I'm getting sick now. Total bullshit, but I'm getting sick fucking 2 days away from my trip, bro. And it's
Yeah.
gonna be a
Did you
shit
know what
show.
helps? What helps kills the germs? Whiskey.
Tequila. Okay.
Well, yeah, but whatever alcohol, just get loads of it down you, and you
They
feel
told me
worse
that
because of the
last year.
alcohol, not because of
They
sickness.
they told me that last year, and I went out and I drank, and I ended up with bronchitis the next day. So I might not do that again.
Yeah, but come on, it's a wedding, right? You gotta
I mean,
enjoy it.
I'm gonna get fucked up anyway. Obviously, it's free alcohol and free food. I'm gonna die, but still.
Yeah, exactly. Open bars. I'm not sure if it's like an Indian wedding, but
It's
all
Indian.
Indian weddings
No, no,
here have open
it's an
bars.
Indian wedding. It's an Indian wedding in a resort. It's all inclusive. I'm gonna fucking die, bro. I won't be
Yeah,
back on Monday.
exactly. I remember at my wedding we had 500 people and an open bar, and people were just going crazy.
It, you
We
know,
still had alcohol left over. Mad.
oh damn, damn.
Yeah,
It's a big ass long 3 day wedding, so it should be quite of a shit show. For
that's quite a short wedding for an Indian wedding. Normally you have like
I mean,
7 days.
no, it starts earlier, but I mean, I'm gonna be here for the
Oh yeah,
early.
yeah,
I got shit to do.
yeah, yeah. You're not doing the dancing and all that stuff, are you?
No, fuck that. I'm gonna go drink and come back.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, thanks everyone for letting us come in your ears for another week. We'll be back after the Cowboys game next week. So peace
Hopefully, it's
out.
a fucking dub. Later, guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Cheers. Recorded.
Oh shit.